Okay, here we go. We are on. We are live. Yay. Oh, all this talk about Ractogeno actually giving me a craving for coffee now. Damn you and your subliminal advertising. Alright, who've we got? Liz still hasn't gotten around to signing on just yet. That's cool. Those who want to have Sirenscape playing in their ear, can you confirm that it is playing something?
It is, because I actually pressed play.
Who are you, and what have you done with Mark? I jest. You are Mark, right? Okay, cool. So, let's see. Folks are signing in, folks are signing on, so what I'm going to do for the moment then is I'm going to turn off the ship rumble. I'm going to turn off the intro music a little bit and play us our intro video, and then we shall get started. So, excuse us folks, we'll be back in literally seconds.
They can't hear us, can they?
They can now. It's a very short intro sequence for the Klingon crew. Hello, hello, folks. Welcome along. This is the continuing adventures of the IKS Do Qe'Bach. Or Do Qe'Bach, I forget how to pronounce it. So, as a departure from our usual episodes with the combs, we are instead transferring over to our Klingon crew. So, Qapla' and all that. But before we get started with that, let's give a quick plug to Mr. Powell and his channel.
Hello, yes. Same as last time, really. To got my brand new episode of Having a Mosey out. It's a feature-length long review of Yakuza 0. So that's still hanging out there for your viewing pleasure. I'm sort of working on the next couple of episodes now, all in sort of one go. So I'll see how that plays out. But yeah, so if you're a fan of Phoenix Wright, Fable 2, Halo Reach, what else is there? Dragon Quest 3, amongst others, then stay tuned.
Smashing. Fable, my wife's favourite game. Franchise, even. So,
yeah, they're really good. I've already done the first one. I did it like a year or so ago. So I'm working on the second one now.
Smashing. Replete with bugs, but you don't notice them when you're having fun, so... Yeah. Hopefully we won't have any bugs here. But... glory to the Empire indeed, Liz. Glory to the Empire, as we join our Klingon crew. Now, before we get stuck into the actual endeavours of the IKS Do Qe'Bach, we are going to continue on with the Klingon War campaign. So, I'm just going to engage with a bit of ship rumble here just to give us some ambience. So we will get back to our Klingon crew, but we first have to do a bit of Starfleeting as we re-engage with our war campaign rules. So, if we remember, this is essentially approaching the overall war against between the Federation and the Klingons from the standpoint of Starfleet, I admit, even though we are going to be visiting our Klingon crew today. But seeing as we started it, we want to keep it going. So this is essentially the players here having a go at being the 20th Fleet of Starfleet under the command of Admiral April Hebert. So, the dealio being that at the moment we have these assets here under our command, so under our ability to use, the USS Mercia, the Stargazer, a retired Federation ship, an admiral, a captain, some more ships, and we have to, or we don't have to, but it's advised that we solve these current points of interest in order to get some campaign momentum maybe, or at the very least campaign progression. And before we get started on that, this is where we have to bring up campaign progression. So I'm just going to jump us to the campaign progression. Excuse me. Table. Because the guys here have actually managed to gain enough progression points that they can get an upgrade, we hope. So, the way campaign progression works, as far as I am aware, you deduct 5 progression points from your total, which is the total we've managed to amass from managing to complete various missions, including the actual played missions that we went through. And we roll on the progression table to see what it is we get as a result. So hopefully this will help with future endeavors. So, if you guys are alright with me rolling on the progression table, unless somebody else wants to take the hat of blame from me.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we can blame you.
Cool. So, it's a table with 20 entries, so it's going to be the roll of a d20, and we're going to find out what progression we get. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, roll! The Federation commits resources. Gain a resource asset. Groovy. So it means you get something extra on top of what you usually get. Resource assets. Let's see what resource asset we get. Criminal contacts. Really? What have you guys been up to? Alright.
Whatever it is, we play the 5th.
Probably advisable. Okay, so that's your 5 progression points spent, but it does give you something extra. So let me give you access to that new asset. Yes.
Isn't criminal contacts just another word for Starfleet intelligence?
Ooh, shots fired. Alright, so...
359 was an inside job, eh, Dave?
Well, quite.
Yeah. Goddamn right it was.
Alright then, so what does it give us? You receive 1 less progression point this turn, but if you use them, you've got something that has got a very high personal use and a reasonably good social use. So it's got a downside, but it's also got an upside in that it's got quite a reasonably good one-on-one thing with it. You don't have to use it, of course, but yeah, it's just me testing. You gain an additional asset to use if you want to use it. So, if we look down below under points of interest, we've got a couple of ones that we haven't got before. Last time was a lot of tactical related points of interest, and some of those didn't get resolved until the second turn that we campaign turn we had, because you realise that if you leave tactical situations, points of interest, pardon me, alone for too long, they get progressively harder. So now we've got these. You've got 2 unknown missions, 1 exploration mission, and 1 routine mission. So how we do this is you choose a point of interest. You can assign 1 or more of your assets to that point of interest in order to try and solve it.
I mean, the last time we found success in dumping resources on ones to meet that requirement.
Yes, quite. And the unknown one, as an example, or the top 2 have got science 3, so you need 3 successes in total to beat those. So,
which is going to be tough, because with the science ones, if we pick one, we can dump like 3 or 4 resources at it.
Yes.
How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8. 3, 6. Yeah, we could just throw 3 or 4 at those 2. I mean, if we have 1 left over for either social or medical. I don't know what the crew think.
I was going to say, you remember, we don't have to do all of them.
That is true. But different things happen depending on what type of mission it is and whether or not you leave it. So yes, go on, Connie.
Let's take out the big boys first.
Oh,
and that's a minimum of 3 resources at each one. I'd say 4 on at least one of them.
Hmm.
Because
All right.
there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
uh,
8. Oh,
Go on, Dave.
what was that?
I was going to say, remember, if we fail on stuff, then we lose that asset.
Not necessarily. You use the
Well, there's-
asset, so you can only
there's
use the asset on one thing. You can't make it do more than
Yeah.
one thing in a campaign turn. But depending on whether or not you fail at something, usually with tactical missions, there's a very high chance of losing the asset. With unknowns or exploration or routine missions, it might not be quite so harsh. Nevertheless, I will say this much. If you want, for every campaign momentum that remains unused by the end of the turn, you get +1 progression point. If you can resolve an exploration point of interest, you gain 3 progression points. So that does give you all the more reason to solve the exploration mission, so you can at least gain progression points. So maybe flip the top 2, maybe make the exploration mission the more important one, because that will gain you more if you manage to solve it, is basically what I'm trying to get to. But don't let me dictate your actions. I'm
I was
merely
gonna
giving
say-
you options.
Yeah, same here. I'm just wanting to, I wanted to warn people.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
stuff.
Do we have to send Captain Seren on a ship to address one? Because
No.
he hasn't got very good science, and he's got quite good medical. Reasonable, anyway. And very good social. We could send him on one of those 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though you've got a character rather than a ship, you can assign a character to a ship, and they can both go along to the same point of interest. But just because you haven't assigned a character to one of the ships you've got at your disposal, doesn't mean that that character can't make it to resolve that point of interest. So yeah, you're totally
in
able
fact,
to.
Social is really good. So if we dump everything on those 2, if we're not using him because his science is
It's
meh,
middling.
we could possibly get another one. That's how I'd look at it. Dump the best science 3 or 4 on this one, second best on this one, and if Seren's left over, chuck him on social.
We can
Mhm.
always also send because the retired Federation ship doesn't really have science. We could just send that one to the medical one
Oh,
that has
yes.
decent medic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got those 2 as like one-offs, and that leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right, so
Don't forget the Mercia up here.
Oh yeah, so we've got 6 useful for science because the criminal contacts doesn't do much for us.
Yeah.
Because social's not good enough to then lose potentially a progression point, so I wouldn't bother with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Captain
so
Seren
Captain
on the
Seren.
social.
Captain Seren on the social one. Okay.
And which are our best science?
Mercia is definitely the best science out of all of them.
Right, put that on exploration. And then 2 more. No.
Right, so let me move this guy over to the side a moment as we put the exploration mission here. Gonna be a bit of juggling going on here, folks. Don't mind us.
Oh yeah, that's that. The Omnus.
Oh yeah.
Where's the nomnus?
The Omnus is on the bottom.
Yep, where's he going? Pardon me.
Oh, sorry, the
Unknown.
exploration.
Exploration.
Unknown?
Oh,
Unknown.
Sorry.
yeah.
And then we could put the Stargate. I know we could put Admiral Harding on the exploration,
Yeah, go for it.
and then we could have the Rendar's Curiosity, our Associate class, and Stargazer could possibly go to the unknown.
Yeah,
Everybody good with all that?
Yeah. 3 for 3.
All
Then we'll just leave our criminal contacts for the future, when we actually need them.
Yeah.
Criminal contact. The crew has actually contacted Hopkins.
Yes. Hey, Trasa, you'll never guess what. Not over an open channel, you dingus. Anyway. Okay then, so who are we trying first? The exploration, or we warming up the dice first with the unknown mission? Or
Let's go with the other two.
let's go with the other two first. Okay, the small fry to try and get the dice warmed up. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, which one? The routine? Visit a Federation allied world to show the colours? Or the unknown? A damaged ship requires assistance?
Let's see Seren flex his social skills. That's a Vulcan.
Alright, well, as you may or may not remember, when points of interest are generated, there is the chance that one of them gets an event happen, and so I randomly rolled which point of interest gets an event, and as it turns out, it's the one you just chose. So, whilst visiting a Federation allied world to show the colours, Captain Seren enters a system that's completely cut off from outside communication. Any resource committed here fails to take effect, but it is not used up. The Klingons got there first and cut off communication so that they didn't allow you to gain that one.
Well done.
So we can't gain it, but does that mean we can't attribute him this session?
So any resource committed here fails to take effect, but it is not used up. So you could technically throw him somewhere else.
Yes.
Should I do that?
Yeah, might as well.
So where do you want to send him?
Exploration?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Let's
Alright,
get these first.
We said the captain and an admiral on this one. That's great.
Shows just how important this is. Alright, cool. So, we have got exploration. A region of space is producing strange effects on navigational signals. We need a science test that needs 3 successes on it. So, as per usual, this is going to follow the rules of assisting. But because we're outside of the momentum system at the moment, we don't charge momentum for the assistant beyond the first. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 assets committed to this. So who wants to roll which? And I suppose which one of these assets is leading the charge?
I caught dibs on the Mercia, and I think the Mercia should lead.
Yeah.
All right then.
15-5. Yeah, absolutely.
So Liz is rolling 2 dice, and we are looking for 15 and under, both of which are successes. Sadly, none of them were under 5, but nevertheless, those were definitely 2 successes. You've got 1 more success that needs to be done. So that's the Mercia. Who wants to be Admiral Hardin? Nobody? Okay, then I will go with Chris. You're Admiral Hardin.
Hello.
I need you to roll 1 20-sided dice, please.
Okay, whereabouts is our boy Admiral Harding?
He
Is he under
is...
the actors?
No, he's just roll it to a 20-sided dice. You can do that
sure.
by, if you notice the dice-shaped...
Yeah, I got him beer. And
Well,
then...
that's- That's the one. You rolled a 3!
Woohoo!
Hello! Admiral Hardin's science is 1. That's a shame. But nevertheless, that was a success. So that's another success. You got the 3 you needed. So anything else from here on in generates extra campaign momentum. Nice.
Ooh.
Which means we've got Captain's... Wait a minute. Yeah, we've got Captain Seren left, and we've got the Omnus left. So who wants what?
I'll be the ship.
Alright, you want the Omnus. So, Connie, if you could roll me a 20-sided dice. It's just... that. Again, really good rolls.
Woo!
So that is another success. That's 1 over and above what you needed. It was not... Actually, it was. That's actually a second success because it was underneath 4. So 5 successes, which means we've got 1 left. So Dave or Mark, who wants to roll as Captain Seren?
Go for it, Dave.
All right then, Dave, roll me a d20. Nine. So that's another one. That's let me see. Captain Seren's got a science of 10, so 10 and under would have done it. You got a 16. So Captain Seren, being a bit disappointed from what happened with the routine mission, comes back and just gives a half-hearted attempt. But nevertheless, that was 5 successes for a science 3. So you got 2 campaign momentum. We will discuss what campaign momentum can do momentarily, but that one is done. Very nice. So that's an exploration mission done. So that's definitely 3 points of progression right there. Cool beans. So everyone attached to that point of interest has been used. They can't be used again for the purpose of this turn. So we have 2 things left. It's the unknown mission or the other other mission that required science, which was there. It is the unknown. So which one do you want to do now?
Shall we warm up again, like we did? Because it worked well.
It seems to.
I'm going to say that's how we should do it.
Well, seeing as you were the one yet to roll, Mark, it seems like you've nominated yourself there.
Oh, okay. Come on, give us a good score.
So the retired Federation ship. Oh, is an 18. That's as far away from what we wanted. Never mind, because we wanted a 13 and under. Whoops-a-daisy. Okay, we didn't manage to do that one. However, let's see if we can't use the milestones for something. Probably could have... Campaign momentum, pardon me. You can purchase an additional D20 at the cost of 1 campaign momentum, in the same way that usual momentum works. After succeeding at a conflict, you can spend a campaign momentum to keep a single resource from being discarded. Cool. At the end of the campaign turn, buy additional assets costing 2 campaign momentum each. So, if you wanted to, we could have you retroactively roll another dice if you wanted.
I would rather, if we were going to re-roll dice, save it for the big one, the science.
Actually, I should have got you to roll 2, because you were the only one on there.
Oh, I will roll another one.
Yes, please do. That was my mistake.
Come on.
Roll another one. We at least need... There we go!
Woo!
There we go! Now, that was a 4, so unfortunately it was just under what could have netted you 2 successes there. But that was 1 success, which is all you needed to take out the unknown point of interest. So that's been dealt with. Hey! So we're left with 1 remaining. The other unknown one, the Science 3 one. The vessel and crew are caught in a strange cosmic bubble. And we've dedicated the Randar's Curiosity, the USS Alba, and the Stargazer to this. So, who wants it? Science 3. So which one's got the best science? Definitely the Randar's Curiosity. So that should probably lead, and the Alba and the Stargazer can assist. Well, Liz, since you nominated the Randar's Curiosity, how about you roll the 2 d20 for that? And we'll have... Ooh, there's a good set there. So that's a 10 and a 17. This is science, so the 10 got 1, the 17 did not. Chris, could I get you to be the USS Alba? So just roll me a 20-sided dice, please, once more. You can, if you want, purchase an additional dice. Ooh, hello, there's a 20. Ooh. Now.
We were only supposed to roll 1.
Yes, you were only supposed to roll 1, so in fairness, I'll let you discount the 20 for the 10. which was science. So that lets you another success. So you've got 2 so far. Need one more.
One more to go. One more.
So, Connie, could you roll me 1 20-sided dice, please, for the Stargazer? 5.
Ooh.
Now, that's a good one. That's definite success. It's not underneath their focus range, but it is a success. You got exactly the 3 successes you needed to resolve that one. So, well done.
Cool.
Nice. Good. So, we've resolved all the conflicts. Players have succeeded. The challenge is overcome. The point of interest is resolved. Each success above gains you extra momentum. Blah 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 blah. So, you won't lose any of those assets, I don't believe. Any points of interest that were investigated and had successful conflict rolls have been dealt with. The plan was foiled. The crisis was averted. Diplomatic dilemma has been navigated. The point of interest is removed. Now we have to resolve the unresolved one, which is... It was a routine. What happens when routine ones aren't taken care of? If a routine point of interest was not resolved by an asset, Federation Command will step in to commandeer available resources to help meet the ever-increasing wartime needs. A randomly selected asset becomes unavailable next campaign turn. If it's a resource, it's discarded. I do believe that's what happened last time, as it turns out, because you did lose the ability to use Raina, who was an asset of yours. But you lost the ability to use him this turn, so...
Didn't really matter, because none of his skills would have helped.
Yeah, so... You didn't lose anything that otherwise would have... Oops, wrong one. Let's stack these like Tetris. So you successfully resolved these. You haven't lost any of these. Nothing bad has happened. And you still get the retired Federation ship back. But we have to determine which of your assets gets unable to be used next turn. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let me see. Dave, could I get you to roll me a 10-sided dice, please?
One roll, the one that gets rid of the criminal contact.
Yes, quite. I was thinking the same thing. Excuse me. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As it happens, it's actually the Stargazer. So we lose access to the Stargazer on our next campaign turn, unfortunately. But we resolved everything else, which is cool, which means brand new points of interest will happen next time. In the meantime, for progression... Every point of campaign momentum unused at the end of the turn, which is 2, gains you extra progression, which means you've gained 5 progression points again. So, do you want to roll on the campaign progression table again now to gain an extra whatever it gives you, or do you want to wait till next time to see what comes up?
I think next time.
Next time, make it a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay, but as is per usual, because we've reached the end of this campaign turn, you get 2 new assets added to your inventory, and from the ones I randomly rolled, you get the USS Ghost, which is a Section 31 ship. You also gain Commander Gatrell of the USS Nightingale, who, I don't know if you remember him, but when you tried saving the USS Nightingale from being on the wrong side of the Romulan neutral zone, Commander Gatrell was the chief medical officer of the Nightingale, so there you go. You've gained use of him on your next campaign turn. So that's all very great. So, when it comes to the end of this episode, or indeed the at the very least the campaign episode, I will generate new assets ready to go and new points of interest, but that'll have to wait until next time. So, unless there are any questions or points over what we had happen there, then the only thing I can think to mention is usually the only time you will probably lose an asset is if you did a tactical mission and you failed at it, and depending on how badly you fail at it, or if you just left it to quietly stew in the background, then you get what's called escalation, and that can sometimes lose you your asset, and even lose you ships and personnel. So that hasn't happened yet. Touch wood, it doesn't happen at all, but we shall have to see. Alright then, so that's the current state of Starfleet's campaign, at least in regards to the 20th Fleet against the Klingons during the ongoing Federation-Klingon War. And so, with no further ado, let us switch to the other side of the Klingon Federation campaign and get to the Do Qe'Bach. So, we are going to move ourselves over to our Klingon bridge ambience as we join the crew of the Do Qe'Bach. So, after your previous success with finding you were originally tasked, if you remember, with trying to find a secret path through Federation space so that the Klingon fleet could sneak through past Starfleet sensor nets and just jump on the Cardassian Union so that they could finally finish the conflict against the Cardassians and prove to the Federation once and for all that a civilian government could in no way have overthrown the military government of Cardassia without help, probably from the Dominion. And so you did find Cardassians in that secret little nebula that the Federation has deemed too difficult to pass. But what you found was an ex-Obsidian Order member who was trying to frame it as if the leader of the current civilian government was in fact a Dominion spy, or at the very least was in the pocket of the Dominion. Sadly, it turned out to be entirely fabricated. But you did at least get away with gaining some honor and renown over exposing that Cardassian plot, as it were. So, much to your chagrin, it seems that the guy you get orders from, Captain Darkran, who is somebody that the crew really doesn't like, because he's of a high house, House Varoth. He tends to look down his nose at anybody who's not a member of a high Klingon house. And since you guys are all part of the same house, House Krell, you are a medium-sized house, if I recall. So you're not as high up in the social ranks as his house, so he tends to treat you all pretty poorly. As if you were just stains on his boots to be wiped off. But nevertheless, after your success at your last mission, he seemed to take a great deal of umbrage at your success, and as a result, the Do Qe'Bach for the past week or so has been on patrol along the border between the Klingon Empire and the Gorn Hegemony. This has been, to put it mildly, an extremely boring week. The crew are pretty much bored to tears, and it's starting to cause problems as Klingons without something to do always end up doing, well, one thing. They start drinking too much, which means they start arguing, which means they start fighting, which means inevitably someone has to report to sickbay because so-and-so disagreed with them about whatever. So, this has given you guys, at the very least, a lot of downtime to engage in whatever hobbies your various characters like to engage in. So, just as a quick recap, Connie is Captain Qe'Bach. Liz, of course, is Commander Trasa. Dave is Dr. O'Keefe, who's kind of part ship's medical officer but also ship's science officer, because neither of those roles are taken seriously. Chris, who is no longer with us, Chris Bell, who's not dead, he's just not longer playing the game, used to be our operations crew member, Lieutenant Lithulol Dos, so he's currently not being played. Lieutenant Shatran is your helm officer, who is also a not played character, so both of those are supporting characters. So Chris and Mark, remind me, who was who? Shilatha was the engineer. Tre'gok was the tactical officer.
I think
I was the engineer. I think I was Shilatha.
Okay. So that means, Mark, you were probably the tactical officer?
I think.
Yep.
That makes sense. It sounds right to me. So, yeah. Tre'gok, very much about endurance, being the rocks on which everything breaks. Shilatha, the chief engineer, always rolling her eyes at the incompetence of her fellow crew members. Dr. O'Keefe, the merciless doctor who basically makes you, berates you for getting injured. Trasa, well, we know all about Trasa, of course. And the good old Captain, who's known as a bit of a maverick, and is known to break the rules a couple of times. Nevertheless, this has been a very, very boring mission. And so, if there are any things that you think your characters would be getting up to in order to pass the time, now's the time to mention them.
I'll start off. Anybody who comes into the medical bay is going to be experimented on to see what kind of injuries happen when you hit people with certain things.
Nothing specific, just anything.
Yeah.
Just testing out different sizes of implements, I get it.
Yeah. So even if you have an injury, you will get healed, but you have to sign an I was going to say you have to sign the NDA.
Is the NDA you just get hit hard enough until you forget?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Are you okay with this? Yes. Okay. Bang, bang. Yeah. That is as much medical and science stuff as the doctor is doing.
Apparently the first officer is definitely in the mess hall drinking blood wine. Okay.
Probably it sends a couple people to sick off because he breaks up the fight.
Nice. Breaking up the fight by breaking them.
The captain, although he usually keeps harmony as much as he can amongst the crew, he's bored and he's an observer of the Klingon conditions, so he just watches the dramas happen.
Taking bets on the side, I see.
Tre'gok is instigating and encouraging fights with blood wine as it's a type of training. It's tactical training, keeping them fresh.
I see. Okay. Righty-ho. Anything else? Cool.
I think the drinking and the fighting takes up most of the time.
I'm going to have Connie read me a little something, so I'm going to send you essentially the captain's log. I've just sent it via Discord to you.
Captain's log. My patience has been tested these recent days. The boredom of these deep space patrols near Gorn space. It does little to occupy the warriors aboard my ship. I am tired of hearing that my more excitable crew are at less than optimal efficiency due to broken limbs or a lost organ resulting from disagreements on the number of hydrogen atoms currently in a cubic calicum around the ship. Now things may change. I've gotten word from Qo'Nos that there is a mystery that needs to be looked into. And if Kayla smiles upon us, perhaps some action.
Connie? Awesome sauce. Okay. So...
Beautiful, Connie.
You've made Dave cry!
I didn't hear any of that. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Again!
I was laughing too much. It was great. It was brilliant. I wasn't expecting that at all.
The inflections were beautifully Klingon of you. I love it. It was great. It was like Shatner and Klingon combined. I don't think I can follow that.
You gotta ham it up.
Yeah, there you are, folks. Thanks very much for watching. I can't follow that, so... No, I will be following that up. But, wicked. Okay. So, you're on a new day's duties cycle, and a subspace message comes in over the secure channels from, well, I'm sorry to say, the one you least wanted a message from. Captain Darkran. Let me get the right voice modulating going on here. So, needless to say, you're not keen to answer the hail, but nonetheless, it's come with secure authorization on its headers, and therefore suggests that it is a legitimate order incoming, so you do, by rights, have to answer it. And maybe, you never know, just like the captain's log suggested, it might actually be action. And so, Captain Darkran comes on the main viewer as you establish communication. Apparently there's been some trouble near your patrol sector. 10 days ago, a House Telek transport vessel failed to make its daily log transmission back to Outpost 548. We haven't been able to detect the vessel on long-range scans either. When this came to my attention, I assumed that it was another minor house like yours trying to save face for a safety oversight. However, yesterday, a colony ship out of Mchaf also failed to report. Outpost 548 thought that it detected the beginnings of an emergency transmission, but it wasn't enough to get a fix on its location better than a region around 5 light-years in radius. Thankfully, you aren't the only ship in this sector. The other ship is the IKS Olaya, and she's only a day or so away at her top speed and coming in from the opposite direction to yourselves. At least this way, I can at least trust that one of you will not screw up and figure out what's going on. So I want you to scour that bubble for what happened. Make sure to coordinate your search so that you don't search the same place twice. I want you en route to the coordinates you receive as quickly as possible. Darkran, out. And so, Sorry, the person you reach is... We'll leave a message and we might get back to you. I'm sorry, Captain Qe'Bach is not available right now. Please leave a message after the beep. Beep. I see, I can't do it as well as Connie could.
There's only one Captain Qe'Bach.
Apparently there is. You've got the knack for it, evidently. I don't. Never mind. So, you do receive coordinates to proceed towards. Apparently you're going to the Zeta Cantos system. And so, with much apprehension at the possible glory and honor to come, you can set off at warp. Now, currently, according to your helm officer, it might take you between 3 and 5 days to arrive. However, if you fancy trying to push your engines to the limit,
Yes.
you might be able to shorten that time considerably.
A bunch of drunk bored Klingons. They're gonna do it.
It's gonna.
Okay, so if you want to increase the speed of the vessel, you are going to have to succeed at a daring or reasoned and engineering task. With a difficulty equal to 4 minus the starship's engineering rating. So let's see, what is the Do Qe'Bach's engineering rating? It is 3, which is not bad at all. So 4 minus 3 is only 1, so this is a difficulty 1 task, which is a good old thing, because that means that the Do Qe'Bach is still relatively new, and of course is a Vorcha-class ship, so it's not new, but it was commissioned within the last 6 years, so it hasn't had the usual 10 years it takes before a refit happens. So she's still showing herself to be very much a nippy and versatile ship, but we're going to need to see if your chief engineer, or maybe somebody else helping, perhaps the helm officer. Who else here has got capabilities in this regard? Yes, Mark.
I've not got capabilities, but as a tactical officer, can I assist by going up and punching it? But also using my values to make it a bit more difficult to get a determination before we get there.
Ah, interesting.
Glory to our house, and just smack it. I'm trying to inspire the engineer.
Yeah, can I try to inspire the engineer by saying that a certain someone from another crew is better at engineering than them?
I know a human who's better at this than you.
Flask?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, Chris. How would Shilatha take that?
Yeah, how would Shilatha take it if she says that another person, who's now technically also a member of this house, is better at engineering than her?
Everyone's so shocked by that ding, that zinger that you just sent, that they all fall forward in from their seats. You didn't. She did. She went there.
Good lord, our ship needs something to do, doesn't it? Before it all falls apart.
Right, so remember that... okay, so Mark is trying to get an extra point of determination here by making things difficult for himself or everybody else. So he's saying he's going to make it a bit quick off the draw, so that means I'm going to up the difficulty of this to 2. Thanks to Mark. So Mark, yes, you do get a point of determination back because you've made it more unnecessarily difficult for your teammates than needed to be. So Shilatha and Trasa can assist this by doing, by basically insulting Shilatha and saying, I know somebody who could do the job better. So basically presence and command you can assist with, if you want to. Now, having anybody else assist will cost a point of momentum which you don't currently have, so this is going to be limited to just Shilatha, and since Liz volunteered Trasa to do it, it's just going to be those two. So 2 dice from Shilatha, 1 dice from Trasa. Okay, 19, so apparently that insult did nothing. And I would like to reference Shilatha's token image to basically show what Shilatha thought of that particular insult.
What should I roll for the...
Right, so you've got a choice, either daring or reason and engineering.
As an engineer, don't you have any like talents or anything, as well as a focus?
So, warp field theory would definitely work as a focus. As for a talent, let's see. I know my ship is the talent for diagnosing problems. Giving it all she's got is about reserve power. That's a thought. Jury rig is about making a repair. Percussive maintenance is when you do control and engineering.
Just give it a whack.
To use daring instead of control. If you do this and the task succeeds, you can reduce the time taken. So there's no time taken here. But what about chief engineer? Opportunity cost of that. You can enter from task. No, nothing to do with this. Okay.
Dang.
Hold the phone. Moment, because I've just realized something. What happens if you add reserve power to something on the ship? 185 and 296. So, reserve power. What can you do with reserve power? Vessels can generate massive amounts of power. A ship has a finite reserve of energy. A surplus capacity which can be sent to bolster or reinforce actions or held in emergencies. A ship begins each scene with its reserve power. The ship systems are allocated sufficient energy from the reactors as a matter of routine. However, a character may take a reroute power major action to divert reserve power to a specific system. Okay, now this is us looking to actually change the and overcharge the engines, so that's not going to be anything to do with reserve power, but maybe reserve power could be used later on to assist with this if this goes wrong in some fashion. Couldn't possibly happen, but hey, you never know. Tre'gok might try helping again by headbutting the console, you never know. So nevertheless, this is...
of things, yeah.
This is down to you now, so yeah, it's... Ooh, look at that, 2 successes on the money.
Ooh.
Nice. Oh. Puppy. Anyway, sorry, Liz is showing us puppy pictures. So if at any point we all go, or I go, oh, you know what happened. See, come on, we're trying to be Klingons here. Tough, rugged Klingons who don't go, oh, at puppies.
They do when they see Targ puppies.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Which is a good point. I forget, does this ship have a Targ pit? No, it doesn't. Okay.
Well,
Some
that's
of them
getting that on later.
Why not? Let's do it. Let's make a Targ pit now. Alright, 2 successes, which means that you do overcharge the engines, and so the time has gone from between 3 to 5 days down to 1.5 to 2 days. Nice. Okay, so there is an audible higher pitched whine coming from the engines, but nevertheless the Do Qe'Bach, it's basically a roar of defiance at the physics of the universe as she plunges forward through space, howling the entire way. But that does mean that Lieutenant Shilatha and everybody else on the engineering deck has to put up with the increased whine of the engines for the next day and a half or so. So, is there anything you would like to do during the intervening period before you get to the location you were assigned to? Nothing comes to mind?
What's the Klingon equivalent of scanning and sending out probes? Just sending out missiles at random?
Well, yeah, they can use long-range sensors and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can scan. I don't think any of us are any good at it.
Well, when I made these characters, I tried to make it so that there was some overlap between characters and focuses, so that at least one other member of the crew should be able to assist. This sounds like it's going to be the science officer who's going to be wanting to do a long-range sensor sweep of the area, which means anybody else with sensors could assist. So the
At a stretch, tactical systems need to be able to scan in order to hit. With a focus in tactical systems. VLL.
Okay, yeah, that could be a potential. Let's see, the two supporting characters don't have anything that I've found yet in regards to sensors. No. What about El Capitano? No, he's very good at giving out... well, he's not good at navigation as well. Trasa, helm control, so yes. And shipboard tactical systems as well. So, if Tre'gok wants to help rather than hinder this time, then Dr. O'Keefe can, by all means, and Tre'gok can give me reason and science at difficulty 1.
It's like a focus range. My science is 1. God, using a focus. That's
You wanted to help?
it's
Which I kind of imagine just being Tre'gok sidling over to Dr. O'Keefe's position on the bridge and just going, "What's that? What's that? Ooh, is that it? What's that there?" And with
shoot
0
that.
successes,
Can I
yeah,
shoot
he doesn't add anything to the.
Can I stab them with my... I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. My Dekag?
Your ducktag, yes.
My Duktag.
Well, maybe after we discover whether or not you actually do a successful sensor scan,
Focuses in sensor operations.
Yep, that will help immensely. This will be reason and science, difficulty 1.
woo.
Edo, 2 successes, which means we get 1 momentum to the pool. Badoosh. Alright, let's see. The region, apparently, that you're heading towards has 3 stars in total. 2 of them are red dwarfs, and 1 of them is an orange dwarf. None of them have been fully explored, and each system seems to consist of icy, dead worlds, except for a single gas giant in the orange dwarf system. No signs of life show up at this range, certainly no signs of any technological civilizations.
Can I ask?
Sure.
You know the red dwarf? Is it cold?
There certainly doesn't appear to be any kind of atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
It is all alone, more or less.
I'm so glad you got my reference.
Please,
Sorry.
the sheer amount of Red Dwarf references that fly around whenever a Star Trek game happens is just a given. Nevertheless, Red Dwarf, folks, watch it if you can. At least the first 6 or 7 series. It was never the same after that. But hey.
Is
Who
it
am I to
worth getting closer to the... Is it the yellow... Is it the yellow dwarf? I can't remember.
There were 2 Red Dwarfs and 1 orange one.
Orange dwarf, then. Because you said there was a gas planet there.
There was apparently, yes. Thank you, Mark. Okay. There was... Well, if you want that to be the first port of call when you start scanning the area, then heading towards the one planetoid within that area of 3 star systems makes a bit of sense. Sure. Okay.
Up to the rest of the crew. I'm just putting it out there for the rest of the crew if they want to do it, if they've got any other ideas.
What does everybody else think?
I mean, we've got to start somewhere.
Makes sense to me. Everybody else good?
Where's the closest thing to shoot? If it's there, let's do that.
Where's the closest thing to shoot? Well, that sounds like you want to see if there are any ships or anything in the area. That is an entirely different scan. So, anybody with starship recognition or anything like that would probably be useful for that. But that is going to require another reason and science or a reason and engineering task at difficulty 2 to see if you can spot any ships in or around the region.
Did you want me to do that?
If it's reason engineering, Tre'gok is not actually useless.
I was going to say I have engineering at 4 and reason at 12.
You should do that.
Is this more sensor stuff?
It would be for you, yes. Does anybody else have any kind of...
If it's engineering check, so control and engineering, I'm 11-4 for engineering.
Whereas Shilatha is...
Oh no, I'm on about assisting Shilatha.
5. Oh, but this sounds like it's going to be Dave's character, Dr. Okitho, who is going to be taking this.
In which case, then, yeah, it should be Shilatha.
Let's just check. Lieutenant Lithudol Dos doesn't have anything about starship recognition or anything like that. Qe'Bach does have navigation, but not necessarily recognition of ships. Shatran is too much to do with navigation and helm operation. Doesn't care about what other ships are as long as he can fly this one. So, yeah, it comes down to if you want Shilatha to aid in this because of Shilatha's higher engineering score.
Yeah, I think that's the better option.
I mean, again, warp field theory would be the closest focus I can think of for Shilatha to add to this. Unless, of course, Trasa or the captain want to get involved and try and use command or something to assist. Up to you guys. Bearing in mind, Captain Qe'Bach has presence 12, command 5, so that's a hefty 17. Shilatha would be a 10-5, so that's a 15. Trasa, likewise, presence 11, command 5. Trasa would be a 16, so... On pure numbers, it would be Captain Qe'Bach, but without anything really engineering related. In which case, engineering would be more Shilatha's thing. But up to you guys, I'm merely giving you options.
I still think Shilatha.
Everybody else?
Don't make the captain get it.
He's
Too
comfy.
busy journaling in his captain's log.
Dear diary.
He's a poetic soul, is Captain Qe'Bach. He's a thoughtful fella. Alright then, so it sounds like Okitha assisted by Shilatha. So both of these guys need to give me reason and science or reason and engineering. 2 dice from Okitha, 1 dice from Shilatha. Pretty please.
Did you want me to do this?
Yep.
Pretty
much, yes.
Engineering.
It's up to you if you want to use science or engineering, whichever one you think is highest.
Okay. So it'd be science.
Then we will go with science.
Oh.
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 With that
Oh no.
Wah, wah, wah.
Is anyone a veteran?
Yes.
Yes. But, oh.
Wait.
Do they
so
have to
if
be
you-
part of it?
Yes.
Also, it's if you spend determination. But you could just
Yes.
spend determination.
Yeah, but it's somebody else's role and they weren't in on this.
Ah.
Okay, so...
It's fine.
It is fine, it's fine. Alright. Long-range sensors detect what appears to be a ship in that general area.
Right, I think we should blow it up.
Yeah, well...
Yeah,
You
probably
Tre'gok
can't
just
ask-
agrees.
It's probably Cardassians.
They made it all the way into the Empire somehow. Those sneaky, sneaky Cardassians.
What house does the other ship technically belong to?
The other ship
the
that
one
was
out-
helping you on this mission, you mean?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So this won't require any kind of roll, but anyone who's a long-standing veteran, like the captain, would be able to tell you that the IKS Olaya is an older 23rd century built Birel-class bird of prey in service to House Qe'Bach, and is seconded to the Klingon Defense Force rather than being an actual ship of the Navy. So it's a small crew of 15 officers and enlisted warriors. Apparently the the captain of the Olaya is a lady by the name of Commander Tre'gok of herself of House Qe'Bach. So that's the other ship you're expecting to see on this mission.
Okay, so it
Shall we
doesn't
give them a
belong.
hello?
Sorry, Liz first. What did you say? Sorry.
So it's not part of the house that we hate. Damn.
It's not part of the house that you hate, no. So accidentally turning up, shooting them and blowing them up and then going, oops, might not necessarily be the best thing to do. What was it you were saying, Connie?
I was just saying, let's what's it? Say hello. Give them a wave.
Oh,
On
you
the-
haven't arrived at the system yet. This is still,
Oh.
whilst you're on your way and making long-range sensor scans of the area that you're going towards. You haven't quite got there yet. So this is how you're occupying the day and a half in between. Yes.
It may be a Starfleet trick.
Yes, we should prepare the weapons.
Yeah.
And that way, we can fire a warning shot as soon as we appear. And that acts not only as intimidation, but a life sign check, because if it responds, we then know there's life signs.
Plus, you know, Federation, in my medical opinion, are soft and squidgy.
Has no bearing on this conversation. She just wanted you to know that.
Yeah.
Want it on record.
For the record, they're very squishy.
Trasa adhering that.
Suspicious eyes. Oh, really? Okay. Cool. So, yes, there's definitely a ship in the area. So, proceeding with all due haste. Along the way, there is potentially one more thing you could do in preparation to get an idea of what's going on. You've got two options. If you want to try and get an idea of the history of this region of space, it can be done in one of maybe two ways, by somebody using insight and command to see if they can remember any tales told at star bases and battle stations, or we can do it the more traditional way of searching the history databases by using insight and science.
Could we also prep the weapons ready to get advantage when we decide to shoot them?
Sure. I'm just picturing Tre'gok with his finger poised over the button.
let me prep.
Just let me press it. Just let me do it. Just one shot, Captain. That's all I need. Just one. So Tre'gok has been the most bored out of everybody, it seems, this entire week. So I didn't get to shoot anything. Anyway. So, totally off tangent there. If you do want to find out more about this region of space that you're going towards and what you've heard about it, then yeah, there are two methods of maybe going about it. Listening to, trying to remember the tall tales told around the star bases and whatnot, or to actually look at a database and see what you can find.
Can we do both?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, so we'll have the boring facts first, and then someone with some insight and command, probably the captain, will say, bah, you know, it was much more glorious than that, you know.
Yeah, I do have 11 insight and 5 command.
Yeah, Trasa as well. So I think, you know, we get some basic facts, and then we'll dress it up. We don't want to do it the other way around, and we don't want to get fact-checked.
Alrighty.
Have you got a narrator talking in your head too?
Then come on down. 0800 voices in my head. That's 0800 voices in my head.
Don't worry, I can scoop them out. I'm a medical professional.
Alright, let's try the more traditional, I hate to say it, the more Starfleet method first. Alright, whoever wants to have a look at researching the library computer. So it's basically anybody with anything that could be used for either computers or history of some sort might be able to assist here. So, whoever wants to make an insight and science task at difficulty 1, anything to do with computers or the ability to rifle through historical documents. From the blank expressions I can hear on everybody's faces.
Oh, it's me, isn't it? Oh, get me to do work again.
I don't know, if someone's got a good insight. Insight 9,
I haven't got good insight.
Trasa's got insight 11.
Yeah. I haven't got good insight. I'm only at 8.
So, yeah, who fancies it?
That's a point. Insight
I mean, I can do it if you really want this.
I mean, I did a reason and science roll of 8 and 1. I mean,
okay, all right.
Competence is not.
All right. I'll do this. So,
I can do an insight and science of 11 and 1.
So
I've got 8 and 5.
So it's a tip up of one or the other way. I see. Right. Well,
I will follow you, Commander.
Looks like Tre'gok doesn't. Looks like Tre'gok doesn't get to headbutt the console just yet. All right. So if Trasa is leading this with 2 dice and Okitha is assisting with 1 dice, then yeah, insight and science, difficulty 1. Any foci to do with computers or anything like that? So 2 successes from Trasa. Very nice.
No, I have nothing in computers.
Just gonna have to be pure talent then.
I guess she remembers how to do it the Starfleet way.
So that's 2 extra momentum go into the pool. So you've now got half a momentum. Nice.
Look, in my medical opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to wait for your explanation.
All right. Okay. In my medical opinion,
I think that's my catchphrase for this character. In my medical opinion.
In my medical opinion, I have managed to discern in the Klingon Imperial Stellar Catalogue the following information. What it has to do with a medical opinion is entirely unknown, but what the hell, let's do it anyway.
You're right, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to find words that adequately portray the whole mind-boggling structure of this sentence. I don't think I'm adequately conveying it. So I'm just going to shake my head and carry on. Alright, so the information you find, you did manage to get 2 extra momentum beyond what you needed, so that's cool. That means you do find information. So, according to the library computer, around 50 years ago, the Gorn ambassador to Qo'Noss made accusations that the Klingon Defense Force killed a colony vessel filled with unhatched young and demanded compensation. She presented evidence that ionization was present on what little remained of the vessel's hull, suggesting Klingon disruptor weapons were used. The ambassador was challenged by the Chancellor's brother, and the Gorn triumphed, requiring the Chancellor to dispatch investigators. These investigators confirmed the weapon's signature, but could not find evidence of who had attacked the colony ship. So,
Sounds
yeah, go on.
I said it sounds like Starfleet in my medical opinion.
The only thing anyone remembers about that is that Captain Qe'Bach would have lost a cousin in that particular encounter with the Gorn. Nevertheless, if Captain Qe'Bach now wants to give a slightly more colourful rendition of that history, then I would like the captain, because Trasa's already had her chance assisting Dr. O'Keefer, so this is going to be entirely a insight and command check. So if somebody else wants to assist an insight and command check, insight 8 command 2, maybe not Shilatha. Mithil DOS, insight 10 command 2, Insight 8 command 4. So Tre'gok is not awful at it. But mostly Captain Qe'Bach, it seems. So by all means, Qe'Bach can give us an insight and command check at difficulty 3.
Oof.
If you want anyone to help, better nominate them soon. And you've now got half a full momentum pool, so...
Who looks old?
Well, who's got veteran? Tre'gok?
Tre'gok.
Trasa sadly has already had her turn. So.
I mean, apparently Tre'gok has had an encounter with it. Well, I guess Gorn aren't very truly alien beings.
Not in this regard, no. The Klingons and the Gorn have been at each other's throats for quite a while.
Okay, I have Tre'gok.
Tre'gok, okay. So Tre'gok assisting Captain Qe'Bach with an insight and command check at difficulty 3. Anything to do with basically telling tall tale stories, remembering history, that kind of thing.
Improvisation.
Lead by example? No. I don't think I've got anything.
Improvisation. That would suggest that you're making it up as you go along.
Oh, I'm just remembering things, and then Captain can't
embellishing
be wrong,
them.
So like, exactly.
Just colouring it in.
Why not? Why not? I'll go with that.
I'm lifting our spirits.
Yeah. It was almost a 20. Then it was nearly an 8, but it rolled onto a 10. Alright, only one success. You can succeed at cost if you wish.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I've just said yes. Is the crew okay with that? I said yes.
I heard
find it
2
funny.
people say yes, so...
I'm making this more hard than it needs to be from the start, so I just want to make sure everyone's okay with that.
We're bored, okay?
Would you like my opinion?
Sure, why not?
Well, I think we should, in my expert medical opinion.
Right then, let me see. Because it was Tre'gok that got the one success, I am going to give you a bit of text. Feel free to either paraphrase it or give it as was, as I give it to you right now. Mark, here you go.
Ooh, message. Let's pop that over here so I can read it. Whee! Oh, I'm going to have to try and one-up Connie. That's not going to work.
You don't have to try. You don't have to do voices if you don't want
I
to.
feel like I do, seeing as I'm making this whole thing more difficult for the giggles. Many Klingons do not know of the thing I have heard called the Egg Eater. It is not a Klingon name, but the one the Gorn gave this region of space nearly 50 years ago. The father of a warrior I met spoke of a time when the Gorn accused the Empire of destroying a colony ship filled with unhatched young and their female caretakers when they were passing through a region. Patak. The warrior's father had taste for eggs himself and taunted the Gorn starship commander by eating paper's eggs while they were accused of consuming their unborn. What honor would there be in slaying a Gorn while they still have their egg tooth? None! None! But there was honor in destroying a Gorn starship when it attacked the warrior's father. After buying the warrior another glass of blood wine, he showed me the necklace made of the lizard's teeth the father took from a survivor in a life pod. I don't think I could keep that up for very long.
No, I don't. Get a glass of water really quickly. That was very good. Well done.
Did I hear like a fist on the table as well?
Oh yeah, there was a fist bump. I got into it.
Nothing like unleashing your inner Klingon. I like it. Nicely done, Mark. Nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. So that was the general idea that you got of the stories out of this region. So you are coming into range finally of the orange dwarf system, which has the gas giant, but also where you detected a ship. And so the Do Qe'Bach finally drops out of warp, the high whine of its engines spooling down as if to go stealthily, a huntress amongst the reeds, and you all kind of almost lean forward on your stations expectantly as you enter the system at impulse speed, and the tactical and sensor system stations register a ship. What do you want to do? Silence.
Let's check the ship is the same ship as before, rather than some new mysterious ship.
In that case, we're going to have to ask for our science officer once again. Or actually, we could ask since our science officer guffed it last time, maybe get the chief engineer to have a look.
Can do.
With a control and engineering check, please.
Control engineering.
I will let you. Never mind.
Sorry. That's what I got.
Matt, you wish you didn't say that, did you?
Okay.
If only I had a Legion of Honor.
Yeah.
Glass.
In Klingon terms, that's actually the Order of the Batleth. So if you had the Order of the Batleth, then yes, you'd be able to ignore the complication. But
I got 3 of those.
sadly, you were not part of that, as your chief engineer is also, with all due enthusiasm, confirming that there is indeed a ship that is not Klingon on the scanners.
Blow it
So, a viable target.
up. Blow it up, in my medical opinion, blow it up.
What would you like to do?
I want to see if their shields are working by shooting it.
Oh, good lord.
Would-
it's a way to
Would the
fight that
first
shield
officer
roll.
or the captain like to interject a bit of sense into all of this?
I'm just saying we aim not for the bridge, but their engines, their warp core, something non-critical.
I take you back to Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean.
I honestly feel like our first officer or captain should actually try to rein us in.
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Alright then. Maybe quickly issue an order then to Commander Trasa before your crew actually power up weapons and shoot this thing.
No, the weapons have already been powered up.
Well,
It's
okay,
a
before they get a target lock and shoot this
Oh,
thing.
I got it. I'm gonna use command and presence and be like, you fire your weapon and hit a fellow Klingon ship. You'll be scrubbing the brig for the rest of this voyage.
Nice.
But
Can I
it's
get you
not
to
a
make that
Klingon
roll with
ship.
intimidation as your focus?
It's not a Klingon ship, is it? So I'd still be allowed to shoot it, even if she succeeds.
Well,
You shoot any ship until we figure out exactly what it's from. You are cleaning.
give it a roll then. Difficulty 0. Let's see how well you do.
With,
If she gets a complication, do I just accidentally lean on the fire button?
Well,
Oh,
now
no.
that you've said that, I don't think I can't now, can I? As luck would have it, it's the opposite side of things. Bing, bang, bong. Well done. So, Trasa very quickly, and, being the single voice of reason in this entire endeavour, basically moves over to Tre'gok and yells in his ear to get him to get his finger away from the firing button. Just to at least give you the chance to check what ship it might actually be. Now, sadly, your chief engineer and your chief science officer have both failed to actually properly identify what ship this is. So, I will give you one other chance to correct this mistake before we just simply shrug our shoulders and move on. But is there anybody who can assist from these other guys?
I mean, I could give it a try, but I'm only rolling at best of 9.
Is this going to be...
What about
veterans?
playing to my strength? Instead of scanning, normally, I fire a probe at it. Because the probe will tell me what it is. And I can use security.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Sure.
If you're firing the probe at it, are you actually firing the probe at
That's
it?
it. Yeah. Thank you, Dave, for explaining what I was thinking. Based on the timbre of the clang that happens when the probe actually impacts the hull of the ship, can I tell how big it is and what the crew... Oh, jeez.
Just ask, is this just a ship full of, tavishes on this Klingon ship?
Apparently
Would not be
so.
surprised. Would not be surprised. I swear, Hopkins has traded one Tavish for 6.
Several, yes. It's like, wow, I had no idea how little trouble only one Tavish was until I got on this ship. Now I got many of them. Okay, so what we're going to do is this time, we're going to have the ship assist with sensors because, oh my god. So for ease of referencing the ship's abilities, let's have, if someone else is volunteering to do this, maybe Trasa, with control and tension, maybe control and con to try and identify what ship this is, and we can have Chris. If I can get you to be the Do Qe'Bach,
Certainly.
Don't
I
worry
get you to
if
give it-
doesn't.
My rolls today have not been great.
Ooh,
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 Ooh.
Trasa's roll.
very good.
There's only one of us doing well today.
The Do Qe'Bach can give me sensors and engineering 1 dice, please, Chris. We assume that it's using a focus.
Cool. You just see Trasa just walk over and start fiddling with the controls. ...
So yes, Commander Trasa stomps over to one of the nearby consoles, accesses the main sensor array, runs an active scan, and discovers that the opposing ship is nothing less than an Orion merchantman. In fact,
Oh, yeah. Fire away.
It's the same Orion merchant. It's actually the same Orion merchantman you passed before you got here, whilst on your patrol of the border with the Gorn a week ago.
Oh yeah. Fire away.
Suspicious.
Yep, you're good. Fire away.
Yeah, so I actually do have Shield Breaker as a talent as well, so no, I'm not suggesting we destroy the ship, but as a before we open channels to give them the chance to surrender, we take down their shield. So
No. I think we give them the chance to surrender because we're honourable Klingons.
I agree.
In my expert medical opinion.
And I agree.
Okay.
After we've taken out their shields. Like, now you will surrender. Because otherwise it might get cocky.
Well, no, because this is what you do. You put every single weapon. Lock on every single weapon. Then
Ask them if they would like to kindly lower their shields and surrender.
Shields.
Right, yeah, gotcha.
I think that is the tactic we need to do, because is what a true honourable Klingon would do, in my expert medical opinion.
I need to get a T-shirt for you with that on.
T-shirt. Sorry, Tre'gok is just going to grumble. He's so please don't surrender. Please let me shoot. So he's going to concede, but he's ready to shoot. If they don't immediately surrender, he's launching everything.
Yay!
Oh my god! This isn't Tavish. This is like 150% Tavish.
This is Tavish when she's had no coffee. I'm beginning to see.
Yeah. Shit.
I don't bloody care. Shoot him.
Oh, you want something to blow up that planet? I've got something for you.
Fire all weapons at once. At the same time. Anyway, let me quickly resolve this situation before we get carried away on this tangent for too long. Okay, so the Do Qe'Bach comes herring in on this other ship, discovers that it's an Orion merchantman, continues to hear in on this poor ship, which is like maybe a quarter of its size. And, yes, is coming in with full weapons lock and weapons powered up and shields activated. At which point, the Orion merchantman, before you even give it a chance to send a message saying surrender your vessel, sends a hailing message to you. A hailing request to you, pardon me. Which is along the lines of... This is Captain Hoko! Wait! We passed you only a week ago! We're only a merchantman! Why are you training weapons on us? Hello? Hello?
Hi! You got through to the Klingons.
No.
We can't get to the communicator at the moment.
Your distress call is important to us.
We'll get to you as soon as we can, maybe.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's like 5 different Klingons just replying to the...
Oh, dear me. Okay. Okay, needless to say, the other ship surrenders and lowers its shields within record time. Excuse me while I'm crying. Actual tears. Jeez. Oh, dear me. And, yeah, it's basically now begging for you not to kill them. And after well, the only thing an honourable Klingon crew can do after another ship has so quickly surrendered without a fight is basically claim the ability to search the ship because it's in Klingon space. Because, you know, you guys need another excuse to just check that these guys are actually on the level. With Tre'gok still on the bridge of the ship with his finger on the trigger, just waiting for an excuse. Just waiting for that one thing from the away team to say that they're actually shipping contraband, even if that contraband is, I don't know, illegal batteries or something.
Let's go.
Tre'gok's just there going, let me, just one infraction, that's all I need! Hell, maybe Captain Javak's doing that as well, so...
Look, it's just one probe.
Donk.
But in the end, the firing of the probe and the subsequent sensor data you get back, even the boarding action you guys may or may not take against these guys, yields the simple fact that these are simple Orion merchantmen who have no ties apparently to anything untoward. They are, the way you know this is the way that they are quietly soiling themselves at the mere prospect of not being able to get away from this line of questioning alive. So you're pretty certain that they're on the level when they say that they are here under legitimate circumstances. They even show you the contract with which they have to deliver their cargo to another location within the Empire. They even show you their what is the name of the ship's individual ID number, which confirms that it is the exact same ship that you passed over a week ago on their supply run to, let's say, Rurapente. So these guys are legit. They can prove it. They've got nothing to do, apparently, with what you're looking at, and we want all your sensor logs. Yeah, fine. They hand over all their sensor logs eagerly, quickly, very, very quickly, and you find they are on the level.
Have they got any medical emergencies?
Well, apart from the captain having had a minor, shall we say, toilet issue on the bridge of their ship, and probably most of their
I've got a
crew
cure
as
for
well.
that.
Did you make a captain's log?
Oh my god, I can't believe I walked into that.
I've got the doctor has a cure for that, by the way.
Yes?
Yeah, it's a broken finger. Because you think about the pain and not actually what
caused it in the first place. Yeah. Okay.
If the captains want to take my my expert scientific
Opinion, yes.
opinion.
Okay, so the situation appears to be thus that we are now in the general area that you were sent to actually investigate. And so far you've found tall tales and you've managed to scare the wits out of an Orion trader. But you haven't found much else. There is a history of Gorn activity in this area, I suppose. You've managed to discern from the tall tales and the library computers.
Ooh, can we get
entries?
them now to also help us scan and search the area? Because we've now requisitioned them.
I was going to say.
To help us search the area.
All right. Well, the captain of the Orion tradesman kind of pleads at first that he has to be let on his supply mission, otherwise the folks at the supply's destination are going to be very unhappy, and it takes all of a second of this crew going, we want your ship now, thanks, for him to change his mind. Very, very quickly, but very little in the way of persuasion needed. So, okay, you guys can draft these guys in against their will to assist you with this mission. Even though you've probably got the bigger, more powerful, and more advanced ship. Speaking of other ships. Be right back, no problem, Chris.
Oh shit, where's the ship going?
That's why we need the Orion ship.
We're all moving on to the Orion ship. It's the last thing they'll expect. Jeez. Okay, so...
I have a cunning plan.
We paint ourselves green. They'll never suspect a thing. Oh, I had no idea this would be the comedy episode. I'd never have been able to call that. Anyway. Alright, so what you get is... you get a call, eventually, from Commander Tre'gok of the other ship that you were going to search the area with, the Olaya. What you know about Captain... Pardon me, I keep promoting her. Commander Tre'gok is that she is a quiet commander who has a reputation of listening intently, quietly corrects minor mistakes, but brutally admonishes major errors with corporal punishment. So, as your ship comes into range of the system and the Olaya also enters into the area that you're going to search from the opposite end, they drop out of warp and they send you a message saying that they are ready now to start the search pattern, so they are waiting on you guys to coordinate the search patterns, just to make sure that they can approach the region that these vessels have apparently disappeared in an ordered manner. So, there's a couple of moments where both sides are essentially exchanging course data, ensuring that no one really overlaps to the other, and that you can both ships can cover the most amount of space efficiently.
Ooh,
and
we
go on.
could divvy it up in terms of scanning. It'd be 2/5 us, 2/5 the other Klingon ship, and then 1/5 this smaller
Orion trader.
Orion trader. Yeah.
So essentially,
they
yes.
do a full third, so they
Yeah.
take a smaller section.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense to me. What about you guys?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Since you have basically browbeaten this poor Orion merchantman into service, you may as well get some use out of him. Okay, so coordinating not only with the Olaya but also with this Orion merchantman, you divvy up the search areas that you're going to undertake an investigation of. And Commander Tre'gok gives you a good-natured challenge. She gives you a challenge. Let's see who can find the missing transport or colony ship first.
If the Orion ship finds it, it counts as ours.
Fine. If you really need to get help to do your job, well... The conversation is about to wrap up when the view screen image of the Elias Bridge distorts sickeningly. Engineers among you immediately know that it means the main structural members of the vessel are breaking apart. Sparks fill the air, and the screams of the crew and the blaring alarms all mix together into a howl as Commander Tre'gok orders the weapons officer to return fire. She turns to the screen to try to tell you something, a snarl of pure hate on her face, but the image flares and is lost.
And nothing was lost.
You can give somebody on sensors, so the doctor, or anybody who wishes to help, a reason and science task at difficulty 0 to try and have a look at long-range sensors to see what might have happened.
Reason and science. Yes.
Yes, please.
Focus.
We always
sensor
have.
operations.
We always have the ballistic probe approach.
Blang.
Well, in my expert command expertise, I think that we should use that if we see any Starfleet out there.
All right then. So,
Oh,
hello
it's
there. Twice in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Ballistic probes it is.
Ballistic probes.
Okay. Sadly, you don't get any definitive answer to what it is, except for the fact that there is an explosion at your long-range sensors pick up, which matches that of a warp-capable vessel losing containment on its warp core, which would suggest that the other ship, the Alaya, has suffered a critical failure and detonated. More than that, you can't tell because the sheer amount of interference from the expanding plasma cloud, which used to be the Alaya, is interfering with sensors. So, what would you like to do now? Your sister ship has been taken down.
I think we should go over there. Have a look to see what's happened.
Shields up or undercloak?
Good question.
Undercloak.
Undercloak.
Too bad it wasn't a ship from the other house. That would have been happier.
We could also. We'll go under cloak, and the Orion ship can come with us. Renamed the
So why
human
don't we
shield.
have them as like...
the Operation Human Shield.
No, because we don't like humans.
Yeah.
Orion shield.
No. What's the other cannon fodder?
Cannon fodder.
Yeah, cannon fodder.
Well, yeah, send them. They're going to come with us as cannon fodder.
Righty-ho.
What's our ship called?
The Do Qe'Bach.
Was it the isn't it?
The IKS Do Qe'Bach, yes.
The IKS cannon fodder.
Giddy-ho. Right, so I am going to need to find a starship. I'll do. So let's see. So one of these in the new rules has something of that, with no weapons to speak of, a scale of that, structure 6, 7, 8, 9, which means it has actually got... This is 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So, the ship that you are taking with you against its will...
It's not against their will. They understand fully that they want to do this.
They want to do this. Okay, and you called it the IKS
Cannon fodder.
Cannon fodder.
I'm glad we can all get on board for this roleplay.
Oh man, okay, right, so you do indeed have a second ship at your disposal now, such as it appears to be. Alright, so you start making your way towards the location that the Olaya was last at in order to try and get an idea as to what might have actually happened. Okay. So, let's not forget, if you think that the Olaya has been destroyed, then there are usually a pair of death rituals which the Klingons have. The first of which is one very familiar to everybody. That's where everybody screams to alert the dead that warriors are about to enter Sto-vo-kor. But if you, however, believe that the crew of the Olaya were destroyed as a result of treachery and maybe he didn't even get a chance to shoot back at whatever it was that destroyed them, then you could declare yourselves honor bound to fight a great battle in the name of those who died in order to assure them a place in the afterlife. But I suppose that all comes down to whether or not you discover whether or not they actually did manage to get any weapons fire off. So, investigating the destruction. So what's the first thing you would like to do? As far as this little mystery goes. The first action you would like to take.
I suppose once we're in the space, trying to see if there's any residual signature of weapons being fired.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, the difficulty is that it'll take you a number of hours to actually get there on impulse. So, it depends on if you want to begin scanning the search area right away from the distance you're at. You can give me a reason and science task at difficulty 2. However, if you instead want to spend a bit more time at high impulse to get to the actual location itself and then scan when you get there, it will be a different type of check. It depends on how soon you want to get to investigating.
I think we should get closer. We tried scanning from where we are and didn't do very well.
Let's get there first.
Yeah, let's
Get there first.
Yeah.
Everybody else good with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Alright, okay, cool. So, giving it all she's got, as it were, with regards to the impulse engines, the Do Qe'Bach speeds along until you get to the area itself where the vapor cloud that was the Olaya is continuing to expand outwards. So you're not exactly fresh onto where the situation as it happened, but you are at least in the area that it happened, and so might be able to pick up some clues that way. So, whoever wants to can give me a reason and science test with a difficulty of 1, but an increased complication range of 1 as well. So, anything to do with sensor scans, which suggests Dr. O'Keitha, but also anybody who's got anything to do with ships, or indeed the command crew can assist with this. Either the first officer or the captain can aid in some fashion by issuing orders.
I'll issue some orders. I'll be like, press those buttons.
Yes, Captain.
So this sounds like Dr. O'Keefe is going to be giving us reason and science with 2 dice, but with presence and command 1 dice from Captain Qe'Bach. You do have a full momentum pool. If you want to add anybody else, it'll cost you 1 momentum.
Or you could just buy an extra dice,
Or you could buy an extra dice.
which I reckon you should do.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Might as
buy
well
an
spend
extra dice.
it. Yeah.
Alright, so take a point of momentum from the momentum pool.
Hold on. There you go.
Boink. There we go. Nicely done. Thank you. So you are rolling 3 dice, and Captain Qe'Bach is rolling 1.
Here we go. Oh,
Okay, Captain gets a success. Your science officer gets flipping heck. 5
Whoa.
successes, 6 in total. Good lord. Right, well, okay then. Alright.
I actually did my job this time.
You did. All of a sudden, stuff got serious and people started actually doing very well. Alright. You detect strange ion trails passing throughout the region, and one of those trails passes close by to where the Olaya was destroyed. Now, the only reason it seems that these ion trails actually stand out is that they seem to begin and end all within the search area's bubble, seemingly appearing and disappearing out of nowhere. If you want more information than that, then more than likely your chief engineer, or anybody with an engineering background, can give me an insight or an engineering, a reason and engineering task at difficulty 2. So, Chris, if you're back with us, that sounds like a Shilatha jobby.
Yep.
But if anybody wants to assist, either one of the command officers or somebody else with engineering-related skills to do with impulse engines, fusion reactors, or power systems, that kind of thing can also assist.
What was I doing with engineering? Sorry, did you say? What was it,
Oops, it is. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. I was asking for either insight or reason and engineering, whichever one you choose.
Any foci?
Yeah, anything to do with, what did I say? Impulse engines, fusion reactors, power systems, that kind of thing.
Oh, plasma power systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, hello.
Got a 1. 3 successes. That was difficulty 2, so you definitely succeed. Okay. You see that the ion trails themselves have ratios of elements in them that are not seen in Klingon, Federation, or Gorn impulse exhausts. Excuse me. These ion ratios aren't seen in any known impulse exhaust except for the ancient probes and vessels left behind by the Herc after they invaded Qo'Nos. Now then, this is where I have to ask an in and out of character question. Does everybody know who the Herc are?
They're the guys who invaded Qo'Nos originally, but then the Klingons nicked their technology, right?
Right, correct. Yes. So, what pretty much every Klingon remembers is that the Herc is just a name that the Klingons gave them. It means outsiders. And they were an ancient, warp-capable civilization that apparently were insectoid. And they invaded they began invading and plundering the Beta Quadrant and ravaged worlds from where you know the Shackleton expanse to be all the way over to Qo'Nos itself. This was the equivalent of the 14th century on Earth. This happened, so quite a while ago. And when the Herc invaded the Klingon homeworld, As Chris rightly pointed out, the Klingon people rose up and used the Herc's own technology against them, and basically drove them back, but not before the Herc managed to plunder Klingon artifacts. Some of those artifacts were the Sword of Kahless, the Bloody Cuirass of Gatalak, and the Maw of Sorrow. So, every Klingon worth their salt knows the name Herc and knows to hate it. A lot of Klingon technology was reverse engineered from Herc tech, so... This is actually, culturally, quite an interesting point, because the reason why Klingons have got such a very strong cultural tradition of storytelling, of oral storytelling, is it was to keep their history alive, because the Herc pretty much raided and plundered all of their the Klingons' written works. Whole libraries were and universities were laid to waste. So there you go. That's why Klingons like to tell stories. Nevertheless, that's who the Herc were. Yet, So then, to make sense of these ion trails, somebody can give me a reason and con task at difficulty 1. Now, a good con officer, someone with a good con, could be Lieutenant Shatran as a supporting character, but we do know that Trasa has got a pretty good con score herself, so your first officer could just as easily take this.
Yeah, I mean, we have the same reason. Just one con's better on the Shatran. That's it.
So, a reason and con task at difficulty 1. I
do have a focus of helm control.
Yeah, but this is less helm control. It's more like exhaust fumes from a ship as anything else. So it'll mostly be on talent. But you do have a full momentum pool if you want to take to spend on extra dice. And, of course, you can bring someone else in if you wanted to, including your helm officer if you wanted a supporting character to assist. Entirely up to you, of course.
What does everyone think?
Buy a dice, or bring in help, or both.
I think buy a dice, because it's a full pool. And you've got a higher chance of scoring.
So 3 dice altogether.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Alright, and off we go to the races.
13, 12, and 9, 2 successes. Okay, cool. So you needed 1, which means you get that point of momentum back. Very nice. Okay, looking at these ion trails. They're seemingly fragmentary. They all seem to be originating at a point that is far between the few stars that are in this sector. And they also disappear at points in all directions. One being where the Alaya was. So in order to try and track one of these trails, I will require a reason and science check from anybody at difficulty 0. So if anybody else wants to try giving this kind of thing a go, then now is your chance.
Well, I have reason 8 and science 1.
So maybe let's not let Tre'gok get involved in this.
Nope.
I don't know. It seems like the people that have the less have rolled better than the ones that had the most.
Well, you know, it is difficulty 0, so, you know.
I think our engineer should do this. Or the captain.
I have a science of 3. We're looking for
Science is
right?
1.
We are looking for science, yes.
He's an arts man. He writes logs. He waxes poetic. He doesn't do science.
Sounds like you've just volunteered there, Lieutenant Shilatha, then.
I'm only on science 3. Hang on.
Hold on, the
Science
captain's got
5.
science 1, so let's go for that.
We're really bored on this ship, apparently.
Apparently so, yeah. We're so
The
stuck
doctor's-
for excitement we have to make failed rolls.
Doctor's
The
orders.
doctor's orders. Oh, she's taken over the ship, and you don't want that.
I like that.
Orders
Dr.
to-
Akitha is coming along saying the captain should do it, or I'm taking over. It could be. That's a
Ooh.
challenge. That's issuing a challenge to the captain.
Well, the captain has to do it.
Okay then.
You
I'll
either do it
then.
or I take over. Interesting. Who's really in charge here?
I'm the shadow captain.
The power behind the throne. Alright then, so reason and science from the captain, if you please. What could the focus be? I mean, you're trying to spot a pattern in these ion trails, so I would go with space combat tactics, actually, as your focus.
Oh, actually.
What?
The ship did just blow up, so... Ooh, that was on a 20, but it rolled over onto a 2.
It's much point using a focus when it's a science of 1.
See?
2 successes.
Yeah, I know,
2
right?
successes, yeah.
Boom!
Is that like the thing where if you give like 1,000 monkeys a typewriter, eventually one of them will appear?
So what you're saying is your chief engineer is comparing the captain to a bunch of monkeys and saying anybody could do this job. There seems to be mutiny going on this ship. Everyone thinks they could do the job better. No, the chief engineer's leaving.
Find my way to the brig. I don't know where the brig is. I'll just go stand in the corner. Here we
All
are.
I'm hearing is
Okay.
Hopkins is.
Oh god.
Everyone's leaving. Even the ship's leaving.
Sorry, that was me. I didn't click on someone. Sorry.
It's quite alright.
Alright.
Nope. Shilatha was like, nope, the narrator's putting words in my mouth, I'm out of here.
Okay, alright, hold on, I'll go in the other brig. I did issue the challenge, so I'll go over here.
Alright, no, you did succeed. Okay, so...
Well, no, I offered the challenge to the captain and the captain succeeded, so I'm in the brig now.
Sure, that's up to you at this point. Alright then, okay.
You down an engineer, medical and science officer. You've got this, guys.
So, long-range sensor scans of the region of ion trail convergence shows that some gravitational disturbance exists there. The amount of gravitational disturbance suggests a small moon-sized mass or a clump of dark matter. So, essentially, at the moment you're left with no obvious sign that your sister ship was able to get a shot off because there's too much interference in the area, but there does seem to be evidence that some kind of ship is active in the area and may, as a result, be responsible for what happened and what has been happening in the region. At present, however, you don't have any reading on our ship besides the one that's currently travelling with you under duress.
There is no duress. They are here
This
of their
time-
own free coercion will.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
How, and it's a really serious one, how the hell did they get that ship in a dress? I'm just asking.
This is where I pull a line from Toy Story. You're mocking me, aren't you?
Maybe.
No, I understand. Well, with this haircut, granted. Actually, considering it actually did. No, before I get on a tangent, let me wheel that back in. Store it in my head for later. when it's not so important. But let's. Okay, so you have got a potential origin location from where these ion trails seem to be converging from, and wherever they're converging from, there's some kind of gravitational disturbance in that area, which could be caused by a couple of things. So it's your best and only clue at the moment for what may or may not have happened, and therefore the best place to start investigating. Did you just say we start shooting?
No, just kinetic probes. Like, we'll be able to scan the area with a probe, but if it hits something, then we found it.
Right. Well then, okay, actually.
Full spread
probes!
Yes.
Oh,
Load all torpedo bays with probes.
I feel really bad. We've completely derailed this game.
I don't know. It seems very in character for what we've established thus far. So, anyway. It only takes a few hours to finally arrive at the location of the convergence of the ion trails, but as you start to close in on the area, and I need to, I think... No, I'm on the correct ambience. As you start converging on that area, a dark body, almost as dark as the surrounding void, starts to come into view. It's... well, let me show you. So here, of course, we have the Do Qe'Bach and the cargo hauler that you've volunteered. And not far from your position is a dark planetoid. About the size of the moon in Earth's solar system. In orbit around this mass are small clumps of debris. And there is some evidence from visual scans of what appear to have once been perhaps domes, suggesting constructed edifices on the surface, but they're all cracked.
Matt, can you kick me out, please?
I can indeed. You've been given the boot.
Thank you.
That is no moon.
Yeah.
Shall we send the cannon, because we're still cloaked? Let's say send the cannon fodder closer to scan.
Well,
That's a bit...
you said it was going to be sending out your kinetic probes, so why don't you do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's go back to the bridge. So I'm going to require a reason and science check from whoever's firing the kinetic probes. Reason and science difficulty 1.
I can't get back into game at the moment.
Okay, so it's going to have to be somebody else.
Oh, we're firing something? Okay.
Your first officer's well up for it.
I've got a reason 8, science 1, so maybe not me.
Oh, wait, we're shooting. We're doing science, not security. Shoot.
Reason 8 and science 1. Your first officer has also got 8 and 1, so...
I was hoping security.
Right not.
Yeah. No, yeah. If it was weapons, it'd be security, but it's probes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Matt, it's not letting me back in. My
Where's our
name's
science
greyed out.
officer gone?
Give it a little bit. It might not realise you're actually out yet.
Okay.
You're just going to have to give it time.
Gonna
Yes.
pull the science officer out the brig. It's time for them to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
Out of timeout.
Oh my god, what's
Whoop,
happened?
you've moved everybody there. If we're looking for reason and science, then I can say that you do have a supporting character in Lieutenant Lethulol Dos, who has reason 11 and science 4.
Mine's a wee bit broken. I can now see 2 Lieutenant Shilathas, and I can't control anything.
What tends to happen when that happens, it's usually when you and somebody else tries to move the same token at the same time, and you ended up getting a ghost image.
I've also got like duplicates of everyone now as well.
Yay! It'll resolve
okay,
itself eventually, but
Yeah, no worries.
it'll get sorted out at some point. Right, so somebody can use Lieutenant Thudol Dos to assist with any kind of role relating to this reason and science check with using kinetic probes.
I'll take Litholdos then.
Okie dokie.
Computers. Yeah,
Computers is the
not-
closest, I suppose.
That'll be a rolling one dice with focus.
Rolling one dice, yes. So who shall we have to do... I mean, Connie, you may as well be Dr. Akitha then, if Dave can't roll.
Yeah.
Is Dr. Keith leading? Because take a momentum.
Probably.
Yeah, take a
Might as
momentum.
well. Take a momentum, roll 3 dice. Sensor operation.
Yes,
Nice
yes.
and focus. Let's go!
3 successes, 2 over and above what you needed. Alright, nice. So that goes back into 1 out and 1 in. So, the architectural style of the crystal domes on this planetoid definitely have a style resembling that of the Herc themselves. Especially because there is pictographic evidence of those structures when they were built on Qo'Noss during the occupation. There are no signs of active power sources in orbit within that debris field, but many pieces of the debris are radiating infrared energy, so heat, greater than that of the planet's surface. Since you got so many successes on that one, I will give you the next pieces of information as well. Some of the debris, pardon me, brie, this cream cheese in orbit.
Yum yum.
Some
the moon
of
is made of cheese.
some of the debris closely matches that of typical Klingon transports. The bits of debris that are slightly cooler in temperature resemble civilian Gorn hull plating. The rest of the cold debris is a mixture of Klingon vessels and what seems to be Herc ships. What is clear is that either these vessels all visited this unknown world, or their remains were brought here somehow. With that information, what would you like to do?
That's all we can do to scan it. We might as well shoot it. It's clearly dangerous.
I mean, well, I think we should go fishing with the IKS cannon fodder.
Poor
Oh, dear.
Orions. But yep, definitely need to go fishing.
Definitely going fishing. Alright, let me see a moment. Okay. Let me have a look. If we're going to be doing anything relating to shooting, then let's check the amount of stations that we have available for a combat situation on the Do Qe'Bach. So we've got 1 command station, 1 communication station. Now, what's the level of communications? Excuse me. On the Do Qe'Bach.
Bless you.
Command is 3, communications is 9. Put that to one side for the moment. Communications. Nothing special on there. Okay, so Helm is the next. So you can have more than 1 engineering console. I forget, what is the deal with that? It's usually 4 or over. Yeah, so You guys would have command, you'd have comms, you'd have con, or the helm, either will do. What is the Do Qe'Bach is? It's not huge, it is a massive battle cruiser, so con is not usually its thing. It's got security of 5 though, so does that mean that we've got 2, excuse me, tactical stations? Engineering, holodeck, science labs, shuttle bay, sick bay, transporter room. Spoodooby-doo-doop-doop-doo. Excuse me, guys. I am trying to find... One of the new things for 2nd edition Star Trek Adventures was there's usually... there was actually a list of departments that can have more than one console to control them, so more than one character can be present. I am trying to find it, and I'm currently failing, so I'm just going to go with a 5 means that you more than likely do have double up. But let me make absolutely sure I'm not making this up. Talents. Talents, talents, talents. Ships of talents. They also have weapons. Weapon types. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to go with, you've got command, you've got communications, you've got con, you will also have engineering. Actually, that comes into operations, pardon me. The Do Qe'Bach's engineering score is 3, so that's not enough to have a secondary one. Have I forgotten a station? Command, obvious. Communications, con, operations. No, so all that's left is tactical. Tactical 1 and tactical 2. So, I'm going to bring you guys to this page again. So, if you did want to start shooting at this planetoid, then I am going to first ask you to start defining crew roles when it comes to ship to whatever combat. So, actually I'm on the wrong crew. Obviously, Captain Qe'Bach is going to be on command. Nobody is currently on comms. Dr. O'Keefe we've currently got as... Oh, I forgot one. Sensors. That's what I was trying to remember. I knew I'd forgotten one. Sensors. So Dr. O'Keefe at the moment is on sensors. We got Lethulol Dos, who's on operations, but he's a supporting character. Shatran is on con, but he's also a supporting character. Shilatha can also be on operations, so could replace Lethulol Dos. And Trasa, of course, can double up on tactical if she wanted to, along with Tre'gok. So how about we throw Voth over at comms and we keep Shilatha on ops? That makes a nice old list. Okay, so back to what we were discussing. You were going to send the cannon fodder first. You guys are still technically cloaked. So, oh, no, not paralyzed. What am I saying? The ship's been paralyzed! No. I was trying to make the ship invisible. So the Do Qe'Bach is currently under cloak, and you are proceeding towards this planetoid. Sending the cannon fodder in ahead just to see what happens, or what?
Yep.
What's the plan
Yeah.
here?
Yep. Make him dance. Get some attention. See what shows up.
Scanning the whole while.
Okay, so they are scanning, not you. Or are you just letting them go forward and you scan to see what happens?
Oh yeah, we'll scan to see what happens.
Okay. Okie dokie do. So, let's see. Scanning orbital space around the planet will be reason and science at difficulty 1.
What was that?
Reason and science difficulty 1. This can be aided by the ship, so let's have... Who hasn't rolled in a while? Connie's rolled, Mark has rolled, Connie has rolled, Liz has rolled, Chris has rolled, Dave has rolled. Most people have rolled. Since Chris is going to be rolling on... Dave is going to be rolling on sensors, so Chris, do you want to be the Do Qe'Bach
Sure.
aiding with sensors and science?
Can do.
1 dice from the ship. 20! Oh dear. These 20s are coming thick and fast today. But we get 2 successes nonetheless. We only wanted 1, so what I'll say there is that the complication nullifies 1 of your successes, and you just get the bare minimum of what you needed to succeed. Alright, the data you're getting back shows no signs of active power sources in orbit. Oh no, I've already read you that bit. There's a lot of interference from the planet's surface. Mostly because of the refracting and reflecting of sensor beams due to the crystalline structures themselves. You can detect a few dozen broken city-like areas on the surface, but little else at this point in time.
Should we decloak, power up shields and weapons, and shoot out those crystalline structures to remove interference?
But then that sort of defeats the whole purpose of staying hidden.
Are we confident that there is another ship, and it's not just the planet itself?
It's at
Or
this
shall we
point
Oh.
that an innocuous power build-up that you hadn't quite registered now flashes an alert on your sensor consoles, as all of a sudden I'm going to make it a beam lances out from the planetoid's surface and strikes the cannon fodder. It strikes has a medium range of there, 9 and intense. I'm going to spend that point of threat you gave me earlier, so that it's actually a 10. The scale of this is resistance is 3, which means it's a 7, which means that beam knocks off the cannon fodder's shields to below 50% in one shot, and the ship is rocked, and you get sensor readings indicating that the crew have started tumbling all over the place in there from the severity of the hit. And so I'm going to throw this into initiative because the planetoid has struck first. It's
If we're
battle
still
time.
cloaked, do we get off a sneak hit? Because the only thing that's actually an initiative is the cannon fodder.
In a sense, yes. So, you can essentially get the drop on them by doing basically your stuff first. So all of the usual tasks. Now, do I need to post up the link for the quick reference sheet again?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it actually. I've got it on my list somewhere. Even I've lost it on my own one. Right. So, if you can find it, let me give you the Dropbox link, because this will make it a little easier to find what you want to do. Did that do anything? Go away, Dropbox 30-day free trial, I don't care. Okay. Posting the link in the Discord. Spadoop. So this is like the quick reference guide to stuff you want to know for 2nd edition. So the first, I think, 3 pages you don't need to look at, because that's to do with personal combat on ground level. What we want is from, where are we? Page 5 onwards, essentially. So if you scroll down to the 5th page, you can start seeing standard major and minor actions that can be taken on a starship. And then on page 6 and onwards, it starts getting into role-specific actions that you can take. So page 6 shows what major actions command can give, what communications can give, etc. So usually when it comes to combat, if you recall, the usual way it works is that the command crew can either generate momentum if there's a momentum pool that needs it, or can maybe try and direct someone to act now, or can also do stuff like assist somebody's action, as well as create a trait, which means that you can set up some kind of advantage that will either make it easier for you to do something or harder for the opposition to do something. So if we go from the top, so what would be one of the first things you'd want to do? Would you want the captain to set up some kind of advantage, or get ready to assist somebody, or what?
I think maybe we should create a trait, because even if we're firing, even if we have to drop on them, we're still without shields as long as we're cloaked.
So you are going to come out of cloak without your shields up initially. So yeah.
Yeah, we want to deal as much damage in one salvo, and then get the shields up.
Someone someone on your group is going to need to take the action of deactivating the cloak, and then somebody else is going to need to take the action of raising the shields. So if we just see what that could be according to this. So actions like, where were they?
I could rally, but we already have enough momentum.
Yes, exactly. So and also the captain doesn't necessarily have to be stuck in the command position. You can always move to a different station, so you don't feel like you have to be stuck there. Now, what was I looking for? I was looking to see who had the action to raise shields. I think it's the tactical officer. Sensor operations, starship minor actions, alter trait, tactical, calibrate weapons, prepare shields. Yes. So as a minor action, the tactical officer can raise the shields, and as a major action can then fire. One of your other officers can be responsible for using a minor action to deactivate the cloak. Sensors can be used to give your weapons the piercing quality so that you ignore any resistance it has to negating some of your damage.
If someone else can do the shields, I can fire twice with a swift action for 1 momentum. That's what I'm looking at the moment with that trait.
So if I can just make an illustrative example, it's going to be a crude one, but I will do it nonetheless. We're talking... This circle here is considered close. So this is going to be rather awful. Let me try again. That's going to be more like medium range. So everything else is more like long range. There's a very rough guides to the zones at the moment, so let's put you... So close, this is close range, this is medium range, this is long range, and you are currently at long range, but let's put you there instead. Right, so comms, we don't have to do anything with comms if you don't want to. Your helm officer can really only assist at things because he's a supporting character, but thanks to the 2nd edition rules, that's pretty much how the con officer works anyway. If you're making an attack run, then your helm officer can assist on the attack roll. If they are using evasive maneuvers, then that's when they make a more active roll to show the difficulty, the amount of successes that need to be gotten over to actually hit your ship. So it's a one or other kind of situation. So again, you want... Right, so if Tre'gok uses both his actions to fire, that means you get twice as much shooty bang fire on your agenda.
If I stack all of these and Chief Tactical Officer, Fire at Will, Shield Breaker, and if we get enough momentum, or if I go over, I can start spending it on more damage. So, yeah, if the rest of the crew is either giving me advantage or setting up an attack run or setting up the shields after we've just blasted this twice with maximum. Like, so if we end with my stacking and it's just going to be firing twice.
So if we give Mark's character all the advantages we can, then we'll start there.
Pulling up shields as well.
Yes.
I can still fire after that.
So that might be... actually, that might be something... No, actually, I've just realised. We did have... If I can bring everybody's... We do have Trasa at tactical position too, so Trasa could just as easily do the quick action of raise shields and the major action of disengage cloaking device if wanted to. I will take the silence as a sure, why not, man?
Yep.
Okay, so that will probably be one of the last things to happen. So the first thing we need to try is... Connie, you said set up some kind of advantage from the captain. So that suggests you are trying to use his presence and command and his space combat tactics to try and set up something funky. What kind of... Well, actually, let's see if you succeed first. So if you give me... like I said, presence and command, 2 dice with his focus. Needs a difficulty of 2, so he needs 2 successes to be able to create this trait. Success! And then some. So what kind of trait did you want to create? Something that makes it easier to hit? Something that makes it easy... gives you a bit more damage? Something that makes it harder for them to hit you? What kind of thing were you thinking of?
I suppose if we're going to say that Mark is gonna hit them hard, I think some easier to hit. You know, we don't want to waste any opportunity there. Make it
Right.
easier to hit them. I think.
Good call.
You can say that, yeah, the captain uses the like the lens flare of the whatever weapon system fired at the cannon fodder as a means of trying to triangulate where the shots are actually coming from and therefore where to land your shot more accurately. So yeah, we can go with that. So that's the captain having taken the first turn. Next up is probably going to be... I mean, I'm guessing you guys are going to be making an attack run. Rather than being evasive about it. Or am I wrong on that?
Do we want to make an attack run that gets us a bit closer to use the more damaging
I
pew?
think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are coming in within medium range at least, which means that your disruptor cannon cannot be used. It's short range, but your disruptor banks and your torpedoes can be. Alright, so
Ooh.
attack pattern means that your helm officer will assist your tactical officer on any shots that are made. Next up would probably be a good thing to do would be sensor operator would be a good idea to scan for weakness. We do that by having Dr. O'Keefe make a control and science check with the ship aiding with sensors and security. So let's go with Chris, could you be the ship
Sure.
once again? And Dave, if you could be Dr. O'Keefe as usual.
Mhm.
So from the Do Qe'Bach, the ship, we just want one dice. We want you to give us sensors and security. And from the good doctor, we want control and science with a focus on sensors. Oh, that was almost a 20. But one success. Nice. So 2 dice from Dr. O'Keefe, please.
When you score critical, when you score critical success for any dice which rolls equal or to or under twice the relevant.
Are you
I've
using
got dedicated-
focus? Dedicated focus.
Is this a good place to use dedicated focus?
Entirely up to you, if that's what you want to do.
No, I'll leave it for a minute.
Okay, your choice. So...
Yep. Control, science, focus.
Sensors. Yep.
Yep.
Go for it. So, between the ship and Dr. O'Keefe, you do manage to get... you manage to scan the thing for weakness, and therefore you give your weapon system the piercing quality. Nice. So, I suppose the best thing to do now would be for Trasa to drop the cloak and then to raise shields. Which we can do. So this doesn't require any kind of roll or anything from you, Liz. This is just using your actions to control the ship's systems. Unless you want to make a roll, of course. These are just actions from you for the moment.
Yeah, because it's a guaranteed success, because we're still sneaky.
And so it comes around to the Do Qe'Bach comes streaking in as it decloaks and then raises its shields very quickly. This leaves our tactical officer with the ability to make 2 attacks.
So first and foremost, in addition to piercing, it's also got the depleting quality. Using the what we're using, disruptor banks, which is also intense. Damn. And then, if you make an attack, you may use a swift action momentum for 1 momentum rather than 2. So spending a momentum, that's why we're getting 2. And if we succeed, then it's if we get bonus momentum, I'll spend it, but I'll leave that for later. I'm going to, because I'm rolling for 2, I've got a focus in shipboard tactical systems.
Yep.
I'm also going to say that I am the steel on which all things break and spend a determination.
Oh, blimey. So roll 1 less dice and check the determination button.
Yep,
check
but
box.
I'm also going to ask the crew if it's okay if I actually do take 1 momentum, so I'm rolling 1 determination and 2 regular dice.
Do it.
Do it.
This is building up to be one hell of a shot.
I'm guessing it's control and security?
Indeed it is. Can I get... Connie, you can be the ship now. The ship assists with weapons and security 1 dice.
So using a focus, using a determination, and I'm still rolling 2 dice in addition to that, but I'm just going to take that momentum out of the pool.
Nice.
And, pew.
Oh my sweet Lord God! Oh my actual gods!
So, yeah.
Wow, okay, right. Good Lord. Right, okay, because the thing is not dodging or evading or anything and you're catching it completely by surprise, the difficulty to hit with your weapon was a 2. So we can say with all certainty that was a successful hit. So Connie, on the Do Qe'Bach, it's the disruptor banks we're going for. So if you could just click the Starfleet insignia next to disruptor banks, it'll give us 8 damage. Now, because you are using the shield breaker side of things, you are able to add 1 momentum and add 1 point of damage. You got 5 successes over what you needed, which means you can add 1 back to the momentum pool to keep it full, and you'd gain 4 extra points of damage, bringing it up to 12.
Let's do that.
Yes. 12 means that its shields go down to... my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... So its shields rocket down. Now, because obviously you took the depleting quality in with shield breaker, it means it only affects the shields and just smashes into the protective shield around this this planetoid and strips it of what looks like 3/4 of its shields. So they're down to about 25%. Ordinarily that would have an effect, but because we are using the depleting quality of the weapon to just attack the shields, nothing else happens. Blimey. But that was only the first shot.
So taking 1 momentum to see the second attack, won't be using depleting on this one.
Right.
So not using shield breaker. Tactical officer can still be used if we need it to do more damage.
And
so
last turn we didn't use the con officer, so we can use the con officer on the attack pattern to do this attack, as well as the ship.
And if it's okay with the crew, I'm going to do the same roll because I have 1 more determination and could take 1 momentum. So essentially rolling again, but without depleting.
Yeah.
Well, does that sound tasty to you guys? That was a gleeful cackle if ever I heard it. Oh yes. All right. Well, blimey.
we're at 5. We're at 5 momentum.
Are we at 5?
Yes. Because we got extra momentum.
Blimey. Okay, alright then. So, from your tactical officer, we are going to want control and security again. We are going to need, let's see, who hasn't... Liz, you didn't get to roll anything last time. You can be the helm officer in order to do the attack run, which means you roll. What was it? Consulting, there it is. Attack pattern. So you assist the attack roll with your control and con. Okay. So you can roll for Lieutenant Shatran, and he can roll 1 dice, aiding the next attack by Commander. That's Commander Crotan.
I'm guessing no focus.
No,
I just
helm maneuver,
realised.
helm
Sorry.
operation and maneuver mastery. Yeah, he's fine. Yes.
Sorry, I just realised.
You spent a determination, didn't roll to get it back.
If you roll equal to or less than your control rating, so I'll roll both these spends to see if I get them back after
Yep.
all this.
Yep.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
Yep. So, what was I doing? Losing the plot. So,
Rolling with focus, determination, and 2 dice.
So you're going with focus, determination, and 2 dice. We're also getting Liz, if you could be Lieutenant Shatran, giving us, what did I say it was? Control and con, 1 dice with a focus on what was it? Maneuver mastery. And we can finally have Dave, if you fancy being the ship.
Okey-dokey.
1 dice from the ship, weapons and security.
Not quite as good.
Okay, that's a 6, that's very good. So in total we have got 5 successes on that second shot. Bringing in your captain's easier to hit means that you scored 4 successes over and above what you needed. You can spend 1 of those to get your momentum pool back to full, and you still got 3 left over. Which, if you're not doing Shield Breaker this time,
Nope.
then because the weapon, the disruptor banks have got the weapon quality intense, it means that you spend 1 momentum to increase the damage by 1, which means you can increase the damage by 3, giving us 8, 9, 10, 11, and piercing, meaning that it ignores resistance. So it just goes straight through their armor and inflicts 11 damage, which means that their remaining shields are stripped from them, leaving 9 points remaining, which means that the entire thing is rendered inoperable with the second catastrophic volley. Boom! So the first shot knocked down their defenses, the second shot finished their defenses before they even managed to truly identify that you were even there in the first place. That is how Klingons roll. So, wow, okay. So, because you had the IKS cannon fodder take the first shot for you, it seems that you were able to reveal that there were weapon systems on the planetoid surface, but in doing so, they opened themselves up for you to be able to basically knock them down. So I'm just going to take these
Cannon fodder did
away.
did its job.
It did its job, yes, and miraculously survived.
Tre'gok is very pleased and is going to send a barrel of blood wine to the IKS cannon with a commendation that they weren't terrible.
So, yes, wow, bringing a Vorcha class to this kind of battle was definitely a big plus. And let's not also forget that our tactical officer was able to reel off 2 shots, and the fact that you've got a high enough security rating that your ship has got 2 tactical stations, meaning that all of that, the decloaking, the shields up, the 2 shots, my god.
And just rolling 2 d20s, I want 11 or below. Why
It's
did that not work?
nuts.
Oh.
Absolutely nuts, but well done. My god.
Right.
Cool.
Roll 1. Nope. No back. And second one. Ah! Never mind.
Alright, he misses out on
Determination.
getting any of his determination back, but
Well,
you'll have to show him how it's done next time, Liz. But for the time being, what have we just discovered? So, it seems that the defense system on this rogue planetoid was limited to a single installation on the surface. So, the system itself seemed to consist of 3 disruptor banks surrounding a multispectral sensor on the surface. The surface was supported by primitive shield emitters, fusion power plants, and automated repair services that didn't do anything to stop your obliteration of their defensive systems. So, now that you have destroyed their defensive systems, your sensors are registering that there is indeed a power source on the world's surface. There's an infrared glow of waste heat and weak blinking lights signaling that one small cluster of surface buildings is still active on the planetoid's surface. But what these guys are going to find there when and if they investigate this power source will have to wait until next time, because unfortunately we've run out of time. But that, I must say, was a shed lot of fun. So thank you very much, my dudes, for being so dang entertaining as Klingons. You seem to enjoy being Klingons far too much. But I like it. I would rather you enjoy it than didn't enjoy it. So yeah, there we go. So, what you guys will find on the planetoid surface, and whether or not it will shed any light on what's actually been going on, and what, if anything, it's got to do with the Herc, well, we'll have to wait and find out. In the meantime, we will ask you to do like the Klingons do, which apparently, according to these guys, is be gun-happy about everything. But, approach every situation simply. Can I shoot it? Should I shoot it?
Man, I
Let's
love.
ask questions later.
Precisely. What were you saying, Liz?
I'm so sorry.
It's fun. This is great. Maybe we could also capture some of these Hercs and throw them on the other house's ships.
But then you'd give the other houses a chance to defeat and display Herc bodies. Do you really want to give them that much credit?
Hmm.
Or keep it all for yourselves?
You know what? Just install a Herc weapon on our ship and just slowly go through the other house's ships, destroying them one by one.
Blaming the Herc for it. I see, because the energy signature will be Herc ship signature. This is becoming slightly worrying. All of a sudden, I'm picturing Gowron is no longer head of the Klingon Empire, and there's only one house remaining.
I was just talking about the house that we hate.
Oh, thank God. But then, given what you guys have been doing today, can you blame me for going that far with what I was seeing in my head?
No. No, because eventually I have grand plans of having Trasa being the empress of all of the Klingons.
You heard it here first, folks.
Can I
Yes?
you know that big round ship,
The planetoid, yes.
planetoid? Yeah. How many Klingons do we need to take over it?
Quite a few, but it depends on what's there. If you're talking about just covering the entire surface area, then more than you've currently got, certainly. Although, a Vulture class does have a ridiculously big crew complement. But we're talking probably a full planetary invasion force. You can... Well, not a full one, actually, because it is a planetoid rather than a planet. What were you thinking? Claim it as your own.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go, folks. The Klingon way. Claim it... Kill everybody, claim it as your own. Typical Empire thinking. Nevertheless, if you want to find out what else happens in the adventures of the crew of the Do Qe'Bach, then feel free to come back next week when I hope the entire crew will be available for continuing this little story.
I will
Should
be,
be, I
yes.
Definitely.
Excellent. In which case, we hope to see you again, same time, same place. And in the meantime, we ask you to bring glory and honor to your house. In the meantime, we will see you next time. Hailing frequencies now closed. Kapla.